Right, if we could write the date and the learn objective, please. And then we'll get started. Okay, so pause the video while you do that, then press play when we're done. Right, okay, so as the learn objective says, what we're going to do is a bit of revision really today. I will send work on MSP as well to go with it, because I think some of you will zoom through this quite quickly. All right. Right, so let's start off by simplifying. So just remember, when we're simplifying, we're just sort of making something, sort of making it in a more manageable way, isn't it? So say, for example, say we've got C plus C plus C. When we're adding, we go 1C, add another C, add another C, gives me 3C. When we're multiplying, it's a bit different, isn't it? Okay. And just remembering the difference. So C times C times C. So C times C would be C squared, times another C would be C cubed. So remember, when we're multiplying, when we're simplifying and we're multiplying, we do it to the power of, isn't it? So that's 3C. So we go C times C times C equals C cubed. And if we've got D times D times D times D, there's 4 of them, so it's D to the power of, I almost put 5 then, D to the power of 4. Okay, so just remember it's to the power of, because that's timesing, isn't it? And if we got D plus D, and then that's 2 D's, isn't it? 2 D's. Just a quick reminder on that one. Okay, and that is simplifying. Now you might be, you will be given work today which involves you having to write each power as a product. So if it's each power as a product, and a product means sort of multiplication. Okay, if you find the product of two numbers, you multiply. So say, for example, I've got y to the power of 3. Okay, so that is doing the opposite to simplify. You're doing the opposite to simplify, and you're sort of expanding it out, so it becomes y times y times y. Okay, so that's all you're doing when you're finding the power as each power is a product. The hardest bit is to remember what that means. Each power is a product. We're just writing it out. Okay, so we might have z to the power of 10, and z times z times z, and we do that 10 times, don't we? Okay, so it's just the opposite. You're writing it out. A little bit on simplifying. Okay, a little bit on simplifying. So if we go, obviously if we go 4a, let's go with 4a squared plus 2a. Now can we simplify that expression? Okay, now remembering, when we simplify, when it involves adding and subtracting, we have to find like terms. Are these like terms? A squared and a. They're not. So this one can't be simplified. We can't simplify that any further, because 4a squared and a are not like terms. Okay, so remember, this is where we're looking for like terms, isn't it? So if we've got 3a plus 2b plus 2a plus 5b, we're finding our like terms. Just going to do this very quickly. Okay, they're the like terms there. So 3a and a plus 2b and a positive 2b is 5a, and then we've got a positive 2b and a positive 5b, which will give me a positive 7b. Okay, I know we're going back a little bit on this, but I just want us to make sure we have this all sorted before we move on. Okay, so that would be the answer to that one. Gets a little bit trickier, doesn't it, when it's negative numbers. So we've got minus 2y plus 7x plus 4y minus 2x. And again, we need to be looking for our like terms. Okay, and remember, we circle these with the sign next to it. Okay, so now I've got minus 2y plus 4y. So minus 2 plus 4 gives me a positive 2. Okay, a positive 2y. Remember, minus 2. And then here we've got this one, where we've got the minus, we've got the positive 7x, and we're taking away 2x. So my 7x take away 2x gives me a positive 5x. Okay, so that would be our answer. We wouldn't need this positive here, because if there's no sign, remember that means it's a positive. Okay, so that's just a quick reminder there. So when remember that 2a squared and 2a are not like terms, or 2a squared and 2a to the power of 5 not like terms. Okay, so you can't add those up. So for example, 4x to the power of 5 plus 4x to the power of 5, you can add up. That will give you 8x to the power of 5, because 4x to the power of 5 and another 4x to the power of 5 is 8x to the power of 5s. But if we had 4x to the power of 5 plus 4x to the power of 4, we cannot add that up, because these are unlike terms. They're not like terms. Right, have a go at these, please. Just write the answers, so you should whiz through these pretty quickly. You only need to put the answers, okay? Pause the video while you're doing them. Okay, just write the answers. Off you go, and press play when you're done. Okay, right. Let's go on to the next part. Let's go on to the next part. Okay, so is it the right one? Yes. Oh, okay. Oh no, that's the right for a little while. Right. So say for example we've got a 3. We do more multiplication now. 3 times b times 4 times b times b. Okay. So we want to simplify here. In fact, we're going to write each. This is a product, and we'd write them as powers. So basically, we're simplifying, and we're putting any letters that we have into powers. Okay. So let's concentrate. We do the numbers first. 3 times 4 is 12, and then b times b times b is b cubed. Okay. So just remember, we do the numbers, and then b times b times b. I know, again, some of us have probably remembered this, but as it's the first day back doing maths anyway, I think it's worth just going over this, and then especially as we haven't got a Teams meeting today. Okay, so that's how we would do that one. Okay, and then when it gets a little bit trickier, so it might be 4x times 2x times 10x, and again we just do the numbers first. 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 10 is 80, so we have 80 there. Then x times x times x, x cubed. Okay, so should be able to remember that, and you might have something like x times y times y. Oh, I wonder x's and y's for that one. Let's do a times b times b times b times a times b. And you do a times a squared, and then b times b times b times b is b to the power of 4. Now you wouldn't put a times sign between them. Okay, you wouldn't, because remember in algebra you have that invisible times sign. So your answer here would be a squared b to the power of 4. Okay, it's a bit like on a previous question, we had the answer, yeah, we wouldn't put the answer like 8 times a squared, would we? We would just call it 8a squared. Okay, so remember, when you come to a question like that, a times a is a squared, b times b times b is b to the power of 4, and we don't put the times sign in. Okay, right. Have a go at these, please. Again, I think you should get through them really quickly. Just write the answer, please. Okay, just write the answer. Okay, off you go. Pause the video while you're doing that. Press play when you have finished them. Right, okay, so the last thing we'll be looking at, reminding us, is then when we're multiplying powers. So for example, what is b to the power of 3 times b to the power of 2? Okay, now the temptation here, okay, is to times those together. You don't. If we look at it this way, b to the power of 3, if we write that power as a product, it becomes b times b times b, isn't it? That's what we've got here. And then we're multiplying that by b squared, which is b times b. So b times b times b times b times b is b to the power of 5. And what you'll see, all you need to do is add up the powers. Okay, add up the powers. So you can see why it works out like that, isn't it? There. And then if we've got something like 2a cubed times a to the power of 4, 2, remember this is a 1a, isn't it? This is a 1a, so it's an invisible one there, so 2 times 1 is 2. So with it, that stays the same because we've got nothing to multiply about apart from the 1. And then a cubed times a to the power of 4 is a to the power of 7. So again, we're separating the numbers and the letters. Yeah, so it's 2 times, because this is a 1a, although we don't see that 1, it's 2, and a to the power of 3 times a to the power of 4 is a to the power of 7. Okay, right. Let's do one minus 2 c to the power of 2 times 3 c to the power of 4. Have a little think. What do you think the answer to that one is? In your head, see if we can work out an answer to that one. Okay, remember what we know about negative numbers. Okay, so we've got minus 2 times 3. Okay, minus 2 times 3 is a minus 2 times 3. Now remember, a negative times a positive always gives us a negative, so it becomes a minus 6. And actually, it's only these whole numbers that we worry about being positive and negative. Okay, then it's c squared times c to the power of 4. I add up the powers, c to the power of 6. So it's minus 6c to the power of 6. Okay, right. So that should be, just remember when you come into these ones, yeah, if that's a minus, it'd be a minus times a minus is a plus then, wouldn't it be? That would be a plus 6. Okay. And then when we got dividing, so if we've got c to the power of 10, I want to divide that by c to the power of 3. Now remembering, when we multiplied, we added them. And the inverse operation, the opposite of multiplication, is division. So we do the opposite of adding. The opposite of adding is subtracting. So now we just take away the powers. We take away the powers. So it becomes 10, take away 3. So c to the power of 7. Just taking them away, okay? And we can throw in some numbers there as well. So you could have 20 a to the power of 6 divided by 5a to the power of 2. We're going to do our whole numbers first. 20 divided by 5. How many 5s in 20? 4. Then a to the power of 6 divided by a to the power of 2. Remember, we take away when we divide the powers when we're dividing them. Okay, it's the opposite of multiplication, which you add. When you divide, you take away. So 6 take away, sorry, so it'll be a, 6 take away 2 is 4. So it'll be 4a to the power of 4. Okay, right, one more. Let's go minus 15 c to the power of 7 divided by minus 5 c to the power of 2. So again, let's do the whole numbers first. That means we've got minus 15 divided by minus 5. So let's look at the signs first. Well, a minus divided by a minus will always give me a plus. So I know it's a positive number, don't I? And then I do 15 divided by 5. How many 5s in 15? 3. So we know the answer is going to be 3 there. And then we just do the same as before when we're dividing these powers. C to the power of 7 divided by C to the power of 2, which is taking those powers away, becomes C to the power of 5. Okay. Right. Oh, I normally go through them, didn't I? Oh, right, okay. I will do that next. Sorry, I'll do that next. Okay. Right, okay. Have a go at these, please. Have a go at these. When you finish, pause the video because we haven't finished yet. Okay. When you finish those, pause the video. We haven't finished yet. Okay. Sorry, pause the video now. Press play when you've done those. Right, let's just go through. Can we mark today's work, please? Let's mark today's work. So as we learned earlier, A plus A plus A is 3A's. Okay, so this is the work from the beginning. Okay, the work we started off at the beginning of the lesson. A times A times A. Remember, when we times them, we use powers. A to the power of 3. This one, A to the power of, if we write in that as a product, we're doing the opposite to simplify. A times A times A. And then we've got B to the power of 5. So we need to times 5 B's together. Okay, yeah, times 5 B's together. When we're simplifying these, they are like terms. So yes, we can simplify. So 3A squareds and 2A squareds give me 5A squareds. Okay, remembering the power stays the same here because they have to be like terms. Okay, let's have a look at, I'll just do number 6 underneath here. Okay, underneath there. So let's have a little look. So we've got 7A is a like term and minus 2A. So 7A minus 2A gives me 5A. Okay, and then I've got minus 2B plus 4B. So I've got minus 2B. I'm adding 4B to this. So minus 2 plus 4 is a positive 2B. So that's question 6 there. Okay, question 6. If we can mark that, please. And let's have a look at question 7. So again, this 2A squared and minus 4A squared, they're like terms. And positive 3A to the power of 5, positive 2A to the power of 5 are like terms. So I can only add or subtract like terms. So 2A squared minus 4A squared. So 2 take away 4 gives me minus 2A squared. Then I got 3A to the power of 5 plus 2A to the power of 5 gives me a positive 5A to the power of 5. Hopefully you got all those. Okay, let's go on to the next ones. Yeah, okay, I think this one was probably the easiest, isn't it? So we could do the numbers first because we're putting them into powers, we're simplifying them. 4 times 3 is 12. A times A is A squared. So we're going to do the numbers. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12, another one 12. C times C times C is C to the cubed. Okay, so again I can do the numbers first. Minus 5 times positive 2, a negative and a positive gives me a negative. Remember, if the signs are different, it's always a negative. If the signs are the same, it's always a positive. So that's minus 10. A times A squared. Okay, so we've got A times A squared, B times B times B, B cubed. Now I've not left a times sign in there. If you have put one in, it doesn't make it wrong, but it's best not to have one in there. Okay, and then last one I'll do underneath. M, it's only one M. N times N times N is N to the power of 3, and then P. Okay, straightforward as that. Don't put the multiplication signs in. And just the last ones. Okay, the last ones. So remember, when we're doing these, we're adding them. a to the power of 6. So 3 times 1 is 3. We're adding them b to the power of 7. 2 times 3 is 6. C squared times c to the power of 7. C to the power of 9. Just be careful with the signs here. Minus 3 times minus 2. A minus times a minus is a plus. So that stays as 6. And then 6 n to the power of 3 times n to the power of 4 gives me n to the power of 7. Now these are the divides. So the divides, we take the powers away. M take away 7 divided by m take away 2. M take away 5. 6 divided by 2 is 4. 8. H8 divided by h to the power of 3. I'm just taking the powers away because it's divide. H to the power of 5. Okay, minus 12 divided by 3 is a minus divided by positive will give me a negative. So negative 4, and then a b. 5 take away 2, 3. Okay, right. Okay, hopefully we've got the idea of those. Hopefully we've got most, if not all of them right. There is an extension. If you have time, back to the portal and see what questions I'd like you to do. Okay, good luck with that, everyone, and I will speak to you in person tomorrow. Bye.